Picture this. You've been running a $35 million tech company and sales have been declining for 2 years straight. Your team is experienced, they know the industry inside and out, but numbers keep getting worse year after year. So what do? Now, most sales leaders think we need better sales training, we need better competitive selling skills, we just need to improve our skills across the board. But here's what we discovered after we did a deep diagnostic of the exact company. The problem wasn't their skills, it wasn't their people, it wasn't even the market. The problem was invisible to leadership, and it's probably invisible inside your organization as well. Hey, I'm Marcus Chan, and today I'm gonna walk you through the exact diagnostic process that took this company from completely missing the number by over $8 million to hitting their number without a single hour of sales training. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to spot the hidden revenue leaks and killers in your own organization and the 3-step framework that fixes them. Let's go ahead and dive right in. So here was the problem. Sales have been declining for 2 years straight. I mean, they had been missing the number by over $8 million over the last several years, and it's getting worse every single year. And there were external challenges as well. So the market was shifting, they had some legal issues, the competitors got very, very aggressive across the board. Just a bunch of stuff that was really outside of their control. So they started making some assumptions, right? So, you know, the board, they're thinking and they're wondering what is going on. And they're thinking maybe they need more training. Maybe they need more better salespeople on the team. Maybe they need better skills. Is it a market problem? Is it the legal issues? And they had all these different ideas and concerns of why potentially their team company was not performing across the board. So then when I sat down with them and started having a conversation with them, they wanted our organization to come in there and start doing a bunch of sales training with their organization to hopefully help them upskill, improve the game across the board. And I asked them some very simple questions such as, hey, how do you know that this is a true root issue? How do you know if sales training will actually solve your core root problem? Because the reality is oftentimes it's almost like, you know, here's the surface right here, and there is a problem right here. And let's just say it's a flower. That's a flower right there. And they're worried, okay, maybe there's something we have to fix right here. Maybe it needs better dirt. Maybe it needs more fertilizer. Maybe it's more rain. But reality is what's a root cause? What are the things below the surface that we're not seeing? What are the things that truly impact it long term? Because we know sales training can help fix it in the short term, for sure, but will it solve a long-term core problem? So here's actually why I recommend it. So before we went and had some sort of sales training and try to solve some sort of surface level challenge, what I actually recommend is we actually go first and we do a deep diagnostic to go in there. And this is a stethoscope if you couldn't, or this is a magnifying glass if you couldn't tell. And we want to go and do a true deep dive to truly uncover what the root causes are. So very similar to how a doctor is not going to come and prescribe medication or surgery or procedure. A really good doctor is going to first do a deep diagnostic first, run a bunch of tests, find out the core root issue so he or she actually knows and solve the problem, and then they prescribe. So that's exactly what we did. So we went ahead and we started going through and we started to look deep into their sales data. And we actually had them export all their Salesforce data for the last 18 to 24 months. So we could see all the deals, all the history, the A to Z of close won, close loss, and everything in between for the last 18 months. So they gave us all that data. We went ahead and also then interviewed all of the AEs and the managers. And we had deep dive conversations with each of them at different levels, whether some of them were brand new into the role, some were middle of the pack, some were top performers. So we interviewed across the swath of leaders and AEs so we can start getting a better grasp of what's going on across the organization and how they're actually running their whole sales process. We also then went and listened to all their call recordings, and we listened to their call recordings to see how they're running their deals. This is from A to Z, from intro calls, discovery calls, demo calls, exec readouts, etc. So we can get a better grasp and better picture of everything. So we're gathering all this intelligence up front so we get to see and have a better holistic view from a third party of where the trends are and the challenges and the biggest hidden revenue leaks are actually killing the business. And here's what was really, really interesting. What we end up uncovering from all that were really 3 core things. And these three core things ultimately was driving a majority of the issues. And number one was no visibility. They had no visibility and they had no idea why deals stalled. There were also no leading indicators that could predict future success. And they were only really measuring just lagging indicators, which was, did they hit their number or not? Which is obviously an important number. That's the only number that once it's happened, you can't do much about it. That was number one that we found. Number two that we found was no accountability. Ultimately, the reps were able to run and just do whatever they want, which can be good or bad. But the reality is when there is unlimited optionality and they can do whatever they want, it's going to lead to chaos. You have some people who can be able to figure out and how to be successful, and many others who will not. And there's going to be basically gunslingers hoping to get some sort of results. So there was no consistency across the board. We also saw that it was very reactive prioritization, which they only take action when they're behind. And there's no clear structure of what good looks like across the board for any of the roles. Which leads to number three, and this is a big one, there were no systems in place. So there were no scoreboards to drive the right leading indicators and also the lagging indicators. So no scoreboards across the board to drive performance. There were no real management processes in place. There wasn't really any one-on-ones with the manager and then the reps. And if there were, they're really, really ineffective, really check the box. There wasn't really any pipeline reviews. And if there was pipeline reviews, it's again, very much just kind of check the box. There was no call reviews. There was no real deal coaching. There was no skill development from the manager to the rep, helping them constantly upskill to get better results. And also, there was no playbook across the board. And there's no playbook for not just the account executives, right, for how to be successful in their role, but also for the frontline sales leaders as well. And the reality was, what I found was really good people, really good AEs, really good leaders that are hungry, they want to win, they seem very coachable, they had the drive, but they didn't have the systems in place to actually be successful at the company. So once I uncovered these core root issues right here, we didn't recommend any sales training at all because we knew that would not solve the actual core systemic issues. We knew that literally just sales training would just be a band-aid to the situation, which let's be real here, like HubSpot says, after 90 to 120 days, less than 10% of the sales training even remember or even implemented after it's been done. And this is actually why we've talked to organizations who have literally invested hundreds of thousands of dollars in sales training, implementing methodologies, only see like zero gain 6 months later. For instance, was literally just speaking to a PEO company yesterday, and they had invested over $300,000 implementing a methodology, which I'm not going to say which methodology it was, all these trainings, doing all these things. Fast forward several years later, their win rate with over 100 reps, 8%. 8% win rate. I mean, that's absolutely insane across the board. Literally just lighting money on fire and burning it. And they were just solving what they thought was the right problem. But reality is they were putting a Band-Aid on the solution. So let's talk about what we did exactly with this organization. So we took these core challenges they're running into, and we started implementing 3 key things to start to improve results. And these things are solid foundational pillars. These are foundational pillars that help you build a future that lasts beyond just 6 months, but 12, 24, 36, and years to come. So number one, we implemented KPIs and scorecards. These were leading indicators, really clear metrics, and provide visibility into performance. And it wasn't creating like a million different KPIs. It was identifying for them specifically the top 5 to 8 KPIs that drive a majority of the results, from leading indicators to lagging indicators. And then creating scorecards around that was very visible at each level to drive performance for the individuals and also the sales team as a whole. Number 2, we implemented management structure. This is absolutely vital. Your frontline sales leaders have the greatest impact to the performance of the actual organization. And I'll give you a really, really simple example. This is years ago, and I remember I was joining as a brand new AE on an organization, and I found out when I joined, the team I was joining ended up being like the worst team in the region, in the worst region in the company. So they had not performed for years. And people said, hey, nobody hits President's Club out here. Nobody wins, blah, 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 a bunch of excuses. Anyways, I had some great success as a rep. I ended up taking over the team as a sales manager. The first quarter I took over, we did 115% to our number. That was the first time we hit a number in literally years, right? That year ended up hitting President's Club, and we hit President's Club in that market every single year throughout. The biggest difference was a shift in the frontline sales leader and then putting the systems in place. And even to this day, that market now, and I've left that company, it's been over 6 years now, that market has consistently crushed it year after year because the systems still continue to run because of these core things in place. So we started to implement with this specific company really core management structure on how to be highly effective across the board for running highly effective world-class one-on-ones that actually drive performance and endear and engage your team, how to run weekly training meetings, actually drive performance and accountability, how to run weekly sales training meetings so you're constantly upskilling your team, developing their skills, to how to do business reviews, to war rooms, to pipeline reviews, to deal rooms, all the key things that are required to drive performance and reduce turnover. And then number 3, we implemented in success playbooks. And it's playbooks and SOPs, not just for the AEs, but also for the managers as well. Literally the A to Z. So for a brand new hire, what will they do from day one? What are expectations? What does good look like? What's a perfect day, perfect week look like? What are the core KPIs? What's expected to them? How to actually do it? How to do outreach? How to actually run discovery? How to actually run meetings? How to run your whole week? How to manage your number? Literally the A to Z to become massively successful in the role. We built out for them, together with them, a playbook for that. But then we did the same thing as well for the sales leader. So this way, a new sales leader coming in had the exact playbook for success. And for the existing sales leaders, even if they fell off the track a little bit, they can always go back to the core things that consistently work. That's a beautiful part about playbooks. They're designed to be a structure and guardrails to help guide the organization towards success, that you can evolve over time based off the market, based off the company changing. But again, it's a core structure. It's a foundational piece that helps you scale success long-term wise. Now, here's what's really interesting. So before, the company had been declining their numbers like this. But literally within month 1, we started to see the results start to go up and to the right. And this is very, very interesting, right? Because literally all we did was just create some core foundational pillars to put into place because we diagnosed the core root issues to begin with. Like literally within month 1, we started to see increased accountability, improvement in culture. And because of how we walked them through how to actually run sales meetings, they found the team started to contribute a lot more. And people were actually rising and become better business professionals because of what we started to put into place as these core processes and tools and frameworks of running a high-performance organization and transforming the team from being transactional to actually true trusted advisors who run and own their business like a CEO of their own territory. Now, fast forward, it's been over 3 months now, and now they're trending to hit their number and their pipeline. They're looking to blow their numbers out. And this is the first time it's happened in the last 2 years. But the crazy part, we have done 0 sales training with their sales team. And this is why it's really important to understand, if you want to take your results and you want to be like them and you want to skyrocket, systems are greater than skills. This is absolutely vital to really, really internalize. Because ultimately, for sure, you want to upskill your team, but if you put the systems in place and you focus on skills after that, it's amazing what you can do with the actual results of the overall organization. So there you have it, a $35 million tech company that went from completely missing a number for the last 2 years to hitting and blowing out their number in a very short time by diagnosing the core root invisible problems first and actually solving those as a result of the diagnostic. So here's the key takeaway. Your sales problem probably isn't a sales problem. It's a systems problem disguised as a people problem. So before you invest more money and resources into more training, more tools, or hiring more people and adding more headcount, do a diagnostic first. You might discover, like this company did, that you already have everything you need. You just need the right foundation to set it up. Now, if you're dealing with declining revenue, missed forecast, inconsistent rep performance and team performance across the board, and you want us to run the same diagnostic we do with this organization to find the true root causes that are actually impacting the future, go and book a call below. We'll analyze all your sales data, we'll listen to call recordings, we'll talk to your team at different levels and identify exact constraints holding your team back, just like we did here. And if you want to see the biggest revenue leaks that are impacting most organizations, I'll see you in this next video right here.